And a good morning to you. Welcome inside the Bottom Line. We apologize not being here yesterday. Ford was traveling, and I was doing storm damage from Monday. We had some storms come through. It knocked down a couple of our stores. They were without power about 5 hours Monday afternoon, and had some things to take care of. One store told me, the manager told me, this is at Rocky River and 485, that they actually had what they thought was a tornado touchdown really close. So I think the weather that side of Charlotte on Monday was a lot worse than what we had here. Yeah. We had some rain and stuff, but they actually had some pretty vicious. And if you watch some of the news, you probably saw some of the trees and such that were down. But glad to be back in the saddle this morning, and thanks for joining in. My Tigers did not fare well last night as they went down to the Tar Heels. They could have lost to anybody but Carolina. Juju Phillips will join us later on in the hour. Morning, Richie. Richie said, stinks when the real job gets in the way of things you want to do. Morning, Stephen. You're right, but I'm going to fix that, Richie, real soon. I promise. I'm not getting any younger, and I'm gonna take care of that little problem here before too long, just because I think I need to. Let's see. What else do we have going on this morning? ACC baseball tournament got underway down in Charlotte yesterday. They'll continue today. They're in pool play. College World Series doesn't get underway until Thursday. My Tigers play late Thursday night, 9:30. 3 ACC teams left. The latest game for an ACC team will be Duke as they take on UCLA in Los Angeles, and that's an 11 o'clock first pitch. I'll go ahead and tell you, I like my softball, but I will not see that. In case you missed it yesterday, and I don't like to dwell on bad things, but I do want to bring this up because I want to get your thoughts on it too. It was released that Dwayne Haskins was illegally drunk at the time of his death. When all of this came out, Juju and I talked about it Monday night. When all this came out, it just seemed like there was some missing pieces. Things just did not add up. And I guess the thing that I've always talked about, I got a friend that he's in really upper management, and when he not from an alcohol standpoint, but when he kind of negotiated the things that he needed because he travels a lot, he wanted a driver, unfamiliar with cities. He could get some work done in the back seat. He wanted a driver to pick him up and take him. And these guys can afford it. And the most important thing that I saw here, and I'm trying to remember, somebody sent it to me, that the Players Association even has something in the contract that they will take you if there's an issue. And this was just bad decisions on his part. The other side of it was there was a female companion in the car at the time. So there was a lot of details come out. And I guess my question is, when do we get – and we were young once too, but when do we get these guys at this level to understand – got to make some better decisions, and you can afford to make better decisions?
It's a great question, and it's a very sad situation indeed. And I think the one thing that we all, and of course not armchair quarterbacking, but you know what I mean, just talking about things, right? The one thing I think that we all have to keep in mind is that before we can be mature, we have to be immature, and a lot of times, when I say we, I'm talking about all of us, maybe get by with things, doing things immaturely, and then sometimes we don't. And, it's incredibly sad. Like you said, there were a lot of questions because of how vague it was. And
anytime it's vague, there's some things out there that's got to be nailed down before they release it. And I appreciate not getting anything released until they finish their complete investigation, so you don't have to go back and retract and take things back.
And, I think a lot of times too, people always talk about facts and this, that, and the other, and, doing investigation. I mean, there were several sides of an investigation done on this. It wasn't just by law enforcement, I feel very confident that, just because one side may be doing an investigation on things and talks about the facts here, that there's another side that also is gathering those same things, right? And, a lot of times facts have a narrative spin to them, right, to try to make them look like facts. And, when it's all said and done, the truth comes out. You can scream to the rooftop about this, that, or the other, but in the end, the truth, all right, of whatever it is will come out. And, there were a lot of questions. I mean, you and I on and off air, we talked about things and just wondering what really is going on. This is so bizarre. Anytime something doesn't seem right, or it doesn't seem full, or it's not transparent, you get that feeling if you're a serious person, because you look into things and use, common sense. A lot of times people talk, Laney, about going by rules and, going by this and policy and all that. But at what point does common sense take precedent over something that's written that may not apply to a situation?
Well, we've gotten to the point that a lot of folks don't use that common sense, and they use those other things that you just mentioned as an excuse
or to their
to justify why they did what they
behavior.
did. That's right.
And that just, that's not only in the sports world, that's, obviously in life. And I'm like you, I'm just extremely saddened. I mean, I'm a Steelers fan, right? I mean, fantastic, whatever, but this is so
just tragic.
Yes.
I mean, that's the only way you can think of it.
And I hope that, his family, and I mean, it's just so hard to deal with this. I mean, as a coach, and you've done it too, we've buried a lot of kids.
Yep.
And
it's tough.
Some of them, it was an accident they were in. Some of them self-inflicted. There's just terrible things that, go on that are out there. And one thing I've learned as I've gotten older is I give a lot more grace than I used to.
Yes,
okay?
absolutely.
And we do that not because we're becoming more noble. I use that word a lot. It's because of life experience and trying to fully understand that every situation's different.
Yep.
And that, you just got to be unconditional with that grace.
Yep, you really do. Milton, I saw that last night. You're back in the hospital. Hope you get things straightened out there, my friends. We're thinking about you, Lincoln Pauly. Good morning. Richie, I don't think they found either vehicle, either the dump truck, and then there was a car right beside the dump truck, I think, that ran over him. I've never read where either one of those vehicles turned up, so I don't know.
That will eventually come out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that it will.
But I'm like you. There's nothing. I was just reinforcing your point.
Yeah.
There's nothing there that's that's what was so, I wouldn't say concerning, but just so bizarre about the whole investigation part of things. It was just everything was hush hush.
Yes.
And if you're not transparent with things.
Well, I think that's because they saw these things like the female companion, some of these other things. They saw things that they were like, hey, we've just got to keep this under wraps until we can nail down the details and make sure exactly what went on.
So what's the quickest way to get a problem solved? Everybody
just come clean from the beginning.
So you just get everything out in the community and
yep,
then it's not a problem anymore.
That's right. That's right.
But I do, again, I'm not criticizing that investigation. What I'm saying is, like you said, there's a lot of people who had questions. Things just seem very vague. That's okay. That doesn't mean anything was wrong or done wrong. It's just, you just find out more and more as time goes on. The one thing you don't want to do, people always talk about be on the right side of history and this, that. Let me tell you something. History can judge, we can go back and judge
things are what
they
are.
Right. And I think the big thing is you quit worrying about a stylistic form of behavior and get down to the substance.
Well, you just accept what it is and deal with it.
I mean, I hear these clowns, sorry, I got about ready to say, I hear these clowns on, these talk shows and TVs, TV shows all the time talking about being on the right side of this or wrong side of this, and you can't do that is ridiculous.
There's not always. Yeah, I mean, you're being judge and jury when you say you got to figure out which one it is.
Yeah, because you end up when you say stuff like that, you end up being the clown. And people wonder why some ratings are going down.
Yep.
It's because of stuff like that.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
Let's move on to some other Steeler news. This was announced. The Steelers are expected to name Omar Khan as their next general manager. They interviewed more than a dozen candidates for the GM position. Khan, who has been with the organization for more than 2 decades, started with Steelers as football operations coordinator in 2001, promoted to director of football administration in 2011, spent the past 6 seasons as football vice president of football and business administration. In that role, he was responsible for managing the Steelers' salary cap. He's considered a favorite during the exhaustive search for that, including interviews with Brandon Hunt. And here's the thing. It doesn't surprise me, and probably doesn't surprise you, that the Steelers went inside to fill the position.
You're 100% right, and I'm like you said, none of us are surprised, but I know a little bit about this, not enough to be dangerous. Okay, just reading about this guy and keeping up with him, whatever. This is somebody that, if they do end up doing this, has started and seen the process of how it works on every level. Instead of just coming in and saying this is the way it ought to be, he knows how it is. He sees how decisions will impact others and not just a wow factor of what's going on. And lady, this may end up being one of the best moves an organization has made in promote. Now, again, it could turn around and be completely a bust. But you've got somebody that's got a fundamental understanding with on-the-job training for 2 decades.
All right. Now, and I agree, but I'm going to take a break, and then I'm going to bust your bubble. Not about him, but just in general. Back in a minute.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com.
Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call Ford Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
And welcome back. All right. We'll pick up where we left off. Mikey, good morning. I saw you down there washing a car yesterday.
Dude works hard, man.
He does. He does. Mikey's good. I got to get some cars down there and get them cleaned up. I'm just kind of waiting for the conditions to clean up a little bit.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm gonna go to I'm gonna take Four's point because I thought it was a good point inside the organization. But here's the only thing about it, okay? I'm going to give you another guy that was the same way. All he's ever done is been involved in football, and that's Dave Gettleman, okay? Gettleman was a scouting intern for Buffalo in '86, a scout from '87 to '93, a scout with the Broncos from '94 to '97, a scout with the Giants in '98, and then '99 to '11, director of pro personnel, and then in '12 was senior pro personnel analyst. Then he went to the Panthers for 4 years, basically failed, went back to the Giants for 3 years, and didn't accomplish anything there. But as an executive, he was, on a team that was a 3-time Super Bowl champion.
Yep.
So it doesn't
tough,
always work out.
Well, what's interesting about Gettleman is he the one, if I'm not mistaken, he's the one that put that Buffalo team together that lost all those but went to the Super Bowl. What was it? Was it 4 years? Yeah, it's 4 years in a row. He's the one that put that together. And to your point, sometimes even though the stars may line up, you just don't end up getting it done in the end.
Who hired him was the one that did that, Bill Polian.
Right.
Bill Polian is the mastermind. And that's why the Panthers have sucked ever since they let him go because Jerry wanted his sons to run.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But, I think that's a great example of yin and yang, But, again, Khan has not, stepped in that role yet. But it could very well be, like I said, it may not work out. But, the way that he's been in that organization the whole time. And, I tell you, man, there's a lot of people like Theo Epstein, comes to mind when it comes to baseball and, the things he's able to do at such a young age where he brought the analytical side, of the business in with that higher level of thinking and just being able to see the process, for what it was and how it could play out. And there's a reason that those people are where they are. And it's like you and I talk about, it's not luck, but at the same time, that doesn't mean they always, to your point, succeed. There's
it's when I read this, and I'm like you, that those natural transitions of understanding the commitment, the philosophy of how the franchise runs, those are important, and you're able to continue that. Like a lot of folks are thinking that Tampa Bay is going to fall off because they got a new coach. They don't have a new coach. They've got a coach that was already on staff that has been a head coach with Todd Bowles. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not like you go out and everything gets thrown out. There'll be some transition there. And I think if Todd Bowles is going to change anything offensively, he's going to wait till Tommy retires because
he's going to talk to Tommy about it.
He's not going to. He's not going to change what's going on that side, and he was running the defense anyway.
Yeah.
So
Todd's a great relationship guy.
Yes,
and
I like Todd Bowles.
Yes, and I think he learned so much from his last head coaching job, and it doesn't mean that he is a failure. Even though he had some setbacks in the other job, for him, he's the kind of guy that learns along the way. You can tell his ego is in check. There's no problem there. He's in control while he lets go. Mm-hmm. And, the more I see this, the more that I understand that maybe not just in sports, but also friends and that relationships are the most important thing.
Absolutely. Well, here's the thing, and I say this, and I'm not opening up a whole new can of worms on this, okay? I've said this forever, and I'm a firm believer of it, okay, even though – that I am white, okay? If there is a coach and an organization wants to win, they really don't care. Now, you've got about color, race, whatever. When they hire, they keep thinking Todd Bowles, Herm Edwards, Lovie Smith. I'm thinking about coaches of color or minorities. Ron Rivera, Raiders years ago. Tom Flores.
Yeah, right. Art Shell.
Wayne Fonts. Wayne Fonts.
Right.
Organizations that are committed, that really want to win, they're going to put all that stuff aside. I've said that forever. Like people saying that, well, there's certain franchises that won't draft a black quarterback. Then they're fools. I mean, it's just that simple. You put all that stuff to the side. You're looking for somebody that can come in and lead your organization that you've got faith in and confidence in. And unlike you, Todd Bowles is one of those guys.
I love that guy.
And the guy that was at Miami that came from New England, he'll get Brian Flores. He will get another job too.
Well, I think there may be, we don't know.
That's a dysfunctional franchise.
Right,
that was failed from the beginning. Just like
really
Todd Bowles at the Jets.
Yeah,
that was failed from the beginning.
Man.
There's not a commitment.
But I'm gonna tell you what. If you think about it, what a better way. There's not a better way to cut your teeth.
Oh yeah.
In the NFL, to learn the way not to do things. So when you have the opportunity again, because you knew Bowles was going to get it. I mean, he is. I'm telling you, Lanny, I've always, and I say always, since he got in the NFL and was following him and watching how he interacts and his demeanor and, how pleasant he is, but at the same time he's in charge. The whole point is when I watched him in the Super Bowl 2 years ago dismantle, you can call it what you want. Third person you, of course. He dismantled Andy Reid's offense. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you, that doesn't happen very often.
That's right.
And he figured out the key was for Mahomes to run to his left with an injured toe, all right? And if he's going to beat us, he's going to beat us being athletic every play instead of every now and then scrambling and making the great play. He's going to have to make it every play running to his left. And it worked brilliantly.
Well, I just there's a lot of coaches that I like out there because I like the demeanor. I like the way they handle players. I like the way they handle press. I mean, there's so many facets to that job of being a head coach that you have to handle. And I've said it, and I've said it to players that I have coached or been associated that whine and complain, well, I didn't get to play, I didn't get to do this. And I'm like, look, if you have a coach that is truly committed to winning, they can put the best players on the field.
Right, for that situation.
If you're not one of those best players, you got to live with that. Yeah. But if you are, if they're worth an ounce of anything, they'll play you because they want to win.
Right.
And if there's other factors in there, you can't fix
100%,
that.
100%. Alignment, assignment, be aggressive. All right, there's nothing about athleticism mentioned in any of those. Be able to get lined up, do your job, and get there with a nasty taste in your mouth. Okay?
Effort.
Right. So what happens is when the baseline of those three things are set, athleticism of any kind, or a smaller amount or a greater amount, is allowed to flourish because the focus is on the substance of the process instead of the athleticism, which is the style.
Pure athleticism can get you in trouble.
It
because you're not
does.
following the things that you need to do to get the job done.
You can get by with not following the process for a little while, but and you can win games with great athletes, but if they're not on the same page, winning championships with them is extremely difficult.
And I'm going to take you somewhere that you and I don't visit very much, which is the NBA. And right now, when you get to the playoffs, that's a topic that comes up all the time, talking about these top-tier talented players in the NBA.
That's why I don't watch.
They say it all the time. They can win you games, but they can't win you championships because they can't overcome the combination of things that are going in on the other team. That pure athleticism cannot get you there. And it transitions from sport to sport to sport. A Mike Trout, a star pitcher in Major League Baseball, Luka, all these guys in the NBA. And the same thing when you're talking about any sport. You've got to have other factors in there. It can't be pure athleticism. The only time pure athleticism will win you championships is in an individual sport, whether it's wrestling or tennis or track and field. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Where it's all about your performance. Mm-hmm. And in a team sport, you got to have more than just pure – not that you can't use that athleticism, but you got to have other things that come into play that are as important or more important than just that pure athlete.
So I think,
golf, thank you, Lincoln.
Great example too. But I want to go back to this. Growing up, I had the benefit of being around – as my dad was a coach, had the benefit of being around a lot of different head coaches in a lot of different sports. It started with Frank Jernigan, who was from Tabor City. When we were down at Hallsboro, he went back to Tabor City, and it was Brian Stanley that came in at Hallsboro. And then when Dad moved up here, Mom and Dad did, we moved with him. Charlie White hired Dad at Ford, so I got to see Dickie Foster, Randy Fawcett, okay, Jerry Copas, Claude Brewer, Nelson Watts, my dad, a lot of, Jim Norris with basketball. I had my own experiences in high school with my coaches, all right. I got to work under, Tom Brown, which was amazing. I got to work in my student teaching for Dwayne Kellum, who won, several state championships at Southside, which used to be Chocowinity High School, which I did my student teaching at and worked for him. He's a wing T guy, Delaware type guy. My point to all this is the one thing that I took away from each one of those that were very successful, Paroli, Tony Paroli, is that they were about doing things right instead of just letting athletes make plays. All right. I noticed that they wanted everybody to do their job first. And the coaches that I've had experiences with that didn't do that would always fall short.
Well, as you said, the athleticism and the competitor will rise.
Yes.
But sometimes it gets held down because of the dysfunction of the other parts of the process.
You're so right. I'm glad you brought this up. What people need to understand is when you have athletes, whether high school, middle school, college, whatever, that train at this level, and the coaching is here, what happens is these kids will start off really good. But if the coaching and the environment is here and the kids are trained here, they're going to naturally start gravitating down towards it.
Same thing in the education process, in the classroom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And my point to that is if the coaching is here and the training is here, then the other kids that don't train as hard or whatever they'll struggle at first, but then they'll start falling in line because they see the process and how it works. Just the opposite happens here when wherever the bar is set from a coaching and environmental standpoint. No matter how hard the kid trains, it'll start working its way back down. That's why you'll see teams that have a lot of promise in the beginning of the year just flounder quickly, okay, because they're made – and, again, I'm not criticizing people because you only know what you know.
That's right.
The problem I have is if you only know what you know, but then you don't go get help to improve yourself for when these kids are training, then there's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what I realized was at a young age, and coaching the baseball team here at Maiden is, I knew we were going to be really good in '98. Cherville was the best team in the state. They won it with Ralph Roberts and all those guys. We were the second best 1A team. I wasn't even close. We beat everybody in our league except Cherville. 1A, 2A league. Shelby Chase, Todd Coffey, who's played in the majors with Hopper at Shelby, beat both of them. No problem. Okay. At '99, I knew that was our year. And the point is even at 25, 26 years old, having experienced this with these coaches, every day I didn't say, well, I'm just going to let Aaron go out there and throw 90 miles an hour and beat people. Every day we slid head first into every base. Every day we took 500 to 1,000 cuts with 10, 12 different hitting stations all over the field. We took, a couple hundred ground balls. We made, a decent number of throws, that kind of thing. Yeah, but what I'm saying is we focused on the substance of the game instead of worrying about, we can hit home runs and we can run and we can do all. We focused on fundamentals. And in the end, after losing game one on the last pitch of the state championship, we came back and won both in extra innings. And I truly believe it's because the kids understood the value in the substance, and now they've got style for the rest of their life.
Yeah. Now, Mikey said good old Jim Norris and Mr. Brown talked about him at the barbershop. Yes, you must have been at Brett's. Now, Andrew, you made a comment, and I'm not sure where you went with this. You said Golden State Warriors have substance, and then you said LOL. I got a comment about that, and I'm going to flex like I do my Major League Baseball knowledge. I'm going to flex my NBA knowledge when we come back, so just stay tuned.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stiefel Nicholas can assist you. Call 4 Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stiefel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
And welcome back. Cloudy day out there today. Love the weather yesterday. Cool, crisp.
It was warmer in the mountains yesterday than it was here.
I can believe that.
70 couple up there. And,
It's supposed to be close to 90 Monday, though.
Yeah,
Summer's
that'll be
coming back.
reversed.
Official weekend of the official weekend of summer is this weekend,
Yeah.
Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
7 months till Christmas, in case you're keeping score.
I am.
Yeah, I'm not. We didn't directly, but indirectly. You've heard me make the statement. No more dogs in my house.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, got 3 more yesterday.
Whoa.
Only one's a permanent resident.
Whoa.
They were all mini golden doodles. Came from the same place that we bought our very first one.
Right.
Addison wanted a mini. I'm like, as long as you're paying for it. I said, I'm not in favor of it, but so went down there. Camden wanted one, so they wound up getting her one, and then there was only one left in the litter, and they just couldn't leave it, so they brought it home, and Devin took it. So now Camden has 2 dogs, and Devin has 2 dogs, and we have 3 dogs in the house, and I told them I'm going to enjoy traveling by myself because y'all can't afford to board your dogs. So that's all I'm going to say. Let me move on. Andrew says a great day at the ACC baseball tournament yesterday. Now, wait a minute. Let me go back. I was in the floor playing with these dogs, and I'm completely fine with it. And then I went to my room.
Yeah.
I don't want dogs. I don't mind playing with them, but I don't want the 24/7.
It's like grandkids.
Exactly right.
Right.
That's exactly the way I look at it. Yeah. Andrew says, great day, ACC baseball tournament. Yes, except our Tigers lost. That's the only thing about it. And then y'all said Golden State Warriors have substance. They said the Golden State Warriors have substance. LOL. Let me tell you this that I heard from the talking heads about the Golden State Warriors. One of the things about it, they still have the same team chemistry.
Yep.
Everybody knows their role.
Right.
Everybody's okay with their role.
Right.
And they still have a common goal to get things done. That's the difference that I see. I don't know that they have the athleticism to get them where they need to because they're old, but they still pretty much do it the way it should be done. That's a Steve Kerr thing.
Yep.
So, Brian, good morning. I just think that they may not have enough in the tank to get there, but they're still, in my opinion, still doing it right, still same team chemistry. They were talking about one play, Curry got backed into a corner, couldn't pull the 3, and he did a behind-the-head pass, and there was Draymond, and because they almost can they know what each other's moves are going to be.
Couldn't agree more.
And so that's why I think they're still successful because of that. Link said best of all time were the Celtics of the 60s and the 70s, but that was such a different time when the respect of the players and the coaches was so much different than what it is today. And that's with all franchises. The Celtics are a great example of that. You're right. But it was just – and even go back to I guess this would have been mid-'80s when you had Jordan on the Bulls and you had the Detroit Pistons who were the enforcers with Lambeer. But you know what? They all knew their roles, and they were all okay with that. And there was that mutual respect that I don't think you get that today with a lot of athletes on any level. But, that's just me.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it kind of was it Link that said that about the
Celtics?
Okay, yeah. And kind of to his point, for that era and how they did things, there probably wasn't a better team, like he's talking about during that era. And, today I know this sounds crazy, but it's almost like it's a different style of team, but they still try to fall back on the same principles of the substance. And it's just hard to find fundamental basketball because as things change, they come up with new words like Eurostep, which 20 years ago meant walk.
Yeah.
Okay. Or 30 years ago, I'm sorry, in the NBA.
In case you're wondering, it's still a walk.
Yes. But it's a Eurostep. That makes it okay if you use a word for it. It's kind of like misinformation, disinformation.
I thought we were still not in Europe, but maybe.
Yeah, it's all about the wording of something. It's like if somebody tells you they're going to do something and then you still vote for them and then you get mad at them when they do it, they told you they were going to do it. It's one of those things that it's like in basketball, with the Eurostep. That is code for walk. People come on here and they'll say, that's not true. You can take that extra step. You can do this, do that. The game was not intended for that to be used in the original part of the game. All right. Now, of course, that's up for debate. That's arguable.
Yeah.
But as things change, we try to become smarter, not more intelligent, smarter with our wording. Hey, things are what they are.
That's right. I'm going to hold Juju till tomorrow morning because I got a couple more things I need to get to here today. Andrew said, on a side note, Curry ties LeBron with 4 titles if they finish the deal. Somebody needs to tell LeBron nobody's ever tied MJ. And, of course, Link says those darn 3-pointers have changed it forever. Mikey said stat chasers and fantasy points and egos more than teams now.
Absolutely.
Is what it means.
I mean, commercialize it, that's what you're going to get.
Well,
he's right.
And here's the thing. And then
100%.
Here's another thing that is out there, and this should have been stopped a long time ago. NFL owners are discussing the future of the Pro Bowl at this week's league meeting. And it could eliminate the traditional tackle game. It needs to be eliminated, period.
Yep,
this is the thing that a lot of people are confused by. There were 2 different things when it comes to it. If you made the Pro Bowl, okay, that was one thing.
Right.
But that didn't mean you were an all-pro. The all-pro was a different statistic, and it meant more from a contract incentive place. And that was something – a lot of folks used to confuse the two and thought that they were one and the same, but they're not.
Remember how hard they used to play in the Pro Bowl? It was crazy, man. It's like they're going out there for blood, man.
Well, I think
and then as guys get, his contracts. Let me tell you something. When you stop working for peanuts, you start protecting the peanuts. Okay.
Yeah. Milton, great. That's a great point. Milton says Dr. Naismith wouldn't recognize his invention.
Dr. Naismith would probably. Well, he's right.
Yeah,
he's spinning pretty hard right now. He's like my grandfather in low interest rates.
Yeah.
For 20 years.
I think they get rid of it. If you want to recognize them, that's fine. But I just think you get rid of it. I don't think it has a place anymore.
No, I agree. Hey, my first crash course in finances was I was like 7 years old, and I was in Mebane, where my parents grew up, and I was hanging out with my grandpa. Right. It was right after my grandma passed away, and we were there, and he he was a person that didn't make it out of second grade. He went to work immediately in the fields and then eventually in furniture. He grew up in Thomasville, but they moved to Mebane years later and worked at White's Furniture. But the point is he would pull out his notepad every night, little notepad, and he was left-handed. He would do what he calls his arithmetic. And he was figuring up money he'd saved in the bank and the interest rates he got. And he said, "That's it. I've had enough. If they're not going to pay me any more than 17%, I can get 17.7 over at Mebane Bank." So he moved his money for somebody paying him 17% where he could get 17.7 at the bank across the street. So he went and moved his savings account the next day. Man, I've been getting nightmares for 13 years about low interest rates. Holy, that was my first course at 7. I had no idea what he's talking about. Boy, do I understand now.
Sidebar question before I get into something else.
Okay. Man.
G-Man's left-handed.
Yeah.
Quinn
throws right, hits left.
Okay.
Yeah, G's left.
He's amphibious.
Kicks right-footed though.
He's amphibious.
Yeah.
Amphibious. Yeah.
Strange, Laney. I threw left-handed, hit right-handed, and kicked right-footed.
And you
left-handed. Yeah. Look, both sides. It's just I can't even tell you.
Let me give you just a couple of things here. Herschel Walker won Georgia's GOP Senate primary on Tuesday.
Overwhelmingly.
So he is getting into politics.
Oh, he's in it neck deep, and he's not afraid at all.
No. So I saw that this morning. I didn't realize there were still primaries this week, and I missed that somewhere.
Like several states had them yesterday.
The other thing that I think Richie may have mentioned this, the SEC could stage its own college football playoff.
Yeah.
And I didn't really understand that as far as, and this doesn't happen until they get in July, I guess, to the conference thing. But the SEC is poised to expand to 16 teams when Oklahoma and Texas join in 2025. And the league plots its future may reverberate deeply through the future of college football and the entire landscape. They are thinking about what a college football playoff would look like. Now, where would this be? I mean, are they just saying for the SEC, or are they saying they're going to try to get it implemented?
So basically what they're doing is kind of what you talked about. Now, I say what they're doing. This is the way that I'm kind of interpreting this, okay, and looking at it maybe through a different lens. But I think what they're trying to do is revamp the whole college playoff system, okay, to get the absolute best teams no matter what, instead of feeling like they got to have feelings-based playoffs where they can pull from all these other places, because it's very hard, and you and I have talked about this, with the exception of Clemson and every now and then in Ohio State, it's very hard to justify not having 2 or 3 SEC teams in it. Now, the whole goal is to get the best teams in it. But when you look at that conference and how they're playing, they're 100% right in what they're saying. And people say, yeah, but it's not fair. You know what? You can either sit on the sideline and talk about how unfair things are, or you can go fix it and change it and invest like they've done into the growth and development of all those programs, put the money into it, gone out and got the boosters, and done everything they could do to provide the experience for their fans and the student athletes to get to where they are.
But see, I feel that way on all playoffs.
Absolutely.
But we don't do it on the professional side.
Right, but it's not that, because it's business.
College football.
No.
College football is business.
No, what I'm saying is this is how you have the great divide between the pros and then college football. What these people are trying to do is save the game of college football, in my opinion. They're not trying to own it. They're trying to save it. They have too much of their life invested in it and have already made their money. Now they're doing things for the good of the game. Look at Gene Stallings. Look at some of the things that he's talked about, in the past, about where the direction of college football. It doesn't mean that it's not okay, Lenny, for things to change and evolve. But the core substance and principle of things that the very foundation was built on cannot be crumbled for the stylistic behavior of a modern society. I'm sorry. If it does, it will crumble too, and that's okay, but you got to know it's coming. That's what they're doing. They're going to get rid of this NCAA, fairness stuff and about feelings and all this other stuff over here, and stop worrying about this conference championship and this person over here and, wow, this team really played great. You could put 4 of the SEC schools in any conference and they would finish 1, 2, 3, and 4 with the exception of every other year of Clemson and Ohio State.
Do you want to see that same competitive mentality on the pro level too?
Yeah, but you can't now because of the amount of money that's being paid. That once the contract is made, how many people actually live up to the contract?
No, what I'm saying is, like, for example, if you're going to take, 8 from the East and 8 from the West in NBA basketball.
Yeah, they're two divisions. Right.
I would rather take the top 16 teams.
Sure.
Don't care where they're at.
No, I understand.
Same thing in football.
Yes.
I am so over divisions and that automatic playoff berth because you won a division.
Theoretically, what you're saying is correct. The problem is they're supposed to be professionals. They're supposed to be professionals, okay? So parity of being able to take from here and there is important. In college football, you can have divisions, you can have conferences and all that, but when you come to a national champion, you've got to spread it out to where the true champion will emerge.
I agree.
Instead of sitting people out. I love Cincinnati. I love Luke Fickell. I love Notre Dame football. I think, this is one of the reasons college football has been as exciting over the years, as it has been. But until they truly can get to that level, you got to stop,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was for Cincinnati. What I'm saying is, it makes no sense because if you take Cincinnati and insert them in the SEC, how's that going to work out every week for that team? How's that going to work out? UFC,
but if they expanded,
UCF,
if they
University of Florida,
expanded the playoffs, there would have been room for. That's the problem.
The problem is, though, in that, and I think I'm not saying you're wrong. What I'm saying is the problem in that is then you have to take conference champions, and you're still leaving the people out.
I'm okay with not taking conference.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. I was just guess what I just did. I assumed, and I'm
It's
sorry.
okay. You make a great wife.
Hey, I didn't make it out of you. I made it out of me.
You make a great wife. That's okay. Andrew said that Dabo, I'm assuming, or I'm not sure which great coach he's talking about. He might be talking about his idol, Nick Saban. Said 3 or 4 years ago that the next 5 to 10 years college football would have to fight for its survival. Richie said, I think within 3 years the landscape of college football is going to see some drastic changes.
Has to.
I'm surprised it hasn't already happened. Andrew said the fact that it's exclusive makes it great. Link said Oklahoma and Texas had better get their butt whippings.
What did he say?
They're about to get their butt whippings. Texas and Oklahoma when they come into the SEC. You went from being at the top of the heap to just one of the guys.
Boy.
Yeah, it's a new world.
Hey, hook 'em. Booner Senior.
Andrew said, yeah, it was Dabo. Yeah, I never can tell if it's Dabo or Nick because you're kind of split on who you follow there.
Hey, what do you think about the Nick and the
Jimbo?
The Nick and Jim show.
That was
Nick
great.
And Jimbo show.
And I don't know why Stanky wanted to get in there and say, well, we're not going to have this. It is what it is.
Dude,
but
it was awesome. Awesome.
As winding down, now I'm going to say this because it's so true. Okay? This is so true.
Love it.
Spurrier said something that wasn't true.
Okay, so that's what I was talking about the other day.
All of the stuff that they said and they talked about is true. And how many times have I said this, and I say this all the time, if the facts hurt your feelings and you can't deal with them, that's on you. Facts are facts.
Yeah, and narratives are narratives.
Yeah.
And you got to know the difference between the two. All right, that's what's being skewed right now, so much because there's so much information that now people are starting to label information. It all comes down to this. If something is right or seems right, all right, it will play out over time whether it is or not. And when it's right or wrong, you've got to accept it. Mm-hmm. Now, some things
you don't have to like it.
No, but you got to accept it because it's truth.
That's correct.
And if you don't, then and you're not guided by truth,
what'd he say, Andrew?
Then things are going to get bad.
He said Bama has never bought a player. Oh, yeah, he did say something that wasn't true.
No. Alabama has never bought a player.
No, Andrew. Nobody's ever bought a player. It appears that they're buying players, but they're playing by the rules that they were given to
right.
play
Now,
with.
what he's talking about is the exact point that you and I made on Tuesday about what they're saying technically is true, but in reality, when me and Andrew talking about things, we would say and know what we both mean when he says that. But technically, they can go back and say, Alabama, LSU, whatever.
Only because the money didn't change hands until after the ink was dry. That's all that it was.
No,
and it wasn't that wasn't in the negotiation.
Right.
Nobody's going to make me believe that.
And it's all about wording.
Yes.
You know, and that's that's where it is.
Well, I'm just I'm not a believer that you want to set yourself up to be above others. Don't do that when you know deep down inside that you only made the statement because that's the way you wanted to phrase it, but that wasn't the reality of the situation, and that's what it was.
Who's the greatest player that you can think of in college football that never fully made it but would talk about being bought and paid for? And there's a show on ESPN about it. Do you remember Marcus Dupree?
Yeah, Marcus Dupree.
The things that he has said and the things that people threw at him and came to him.
And where was he?
He went to Oklahoma, right?
Okay.
And that's where he ended up. But Texas was in there with him, and of course everybody else in the nation was. But what that kid was able to do, and the fact that he got out of shape and then got back into it and play, I think he ended up playing the USFL.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, I get incredible stories that are out there, Lanny. That people one day will talk about.
Lincoln,
to Andrew's point,
he spent time in Texas. Said TCU and SMU. He said, I know bought players to compete with
the boosters.
Texas.
Yeah. No, everybody's right when they say that, but I'm talking about from a technical standpoint. When the coaches say Alabama, Clemson, LSU, whatever, hasn't bought the players, technically what they're saying is that's right. It may very well have come from other sources to
End
get
result
the players
was the
there.
same.
Right.
Brian said, I still say they all do it. Brian, I will testify right here.
Sure.
And a good old maiden boy can do it too. And Jamie Pope, he can tell you. He can tell you. We were together. We would meet at the Western Steer on Sunday night after visits and figure out who got the most. All right, that's it. Got to go. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.